Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, we're gonna be switching over, as you know, to Case Magic. It's a lot simpler than TheraApp. Some people say. Miss Connie said no. Well, she'll see about that. So you guys all got the email on how to log in. Have you guys went in there and played around with it? Nobody's played around with it yet.
You say go in there and play around with it. Go where and play where?
So did you get the email?
Got the email.
And then you okay? I'm gonna show you. Let's go
So,
here.
This is a single word to download something.
No, you don't have to download.
Oh,
It's not an app. So you're actually gonna be going onto your web browser because those that don't have laptops and you have to go into your web browser. So either Google or I would just or you'll have the tablet.
Yeah, no.
You'll have the
It's in the
tablet.
car.
No, you're gonna go.
It's the front seat.
And then I'm gonna get off this so you'll see what if this is just your Google browser. And all you're gonna do is take that website that's in that email and you're gonna do Case Magic. This is what it's gonna look like, casemagic.cloud/AW, and then enter. Have you guys all set usernames yet, or is this your first time going to Case Magic?
It's the first time.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and log in with the password that we sent you, and then it's gonna prompt you to change your password. And then what I would suggest for the people that have a hard time remembering the password, you just use the same one you use for TheraApp.
Okay.
Which is
So those of you who are watching, to log into Case Magic, it's going to be your first initial, your last name. All right, so once you guys are all in, so if you see that long list of people,
No Wi-Fi.
okay, so this is my whole case. This has everybody in ILS. And it should have your people pertaining to, if you're working with Elizabeth, you'll have everybody that's on Elizabeth's list. So for mine, I have everybody on my list. So
my names are different here.
yes, exactly. But you'll be able to follow through. So there's two ways to get to your people. You can either just scroll down, as whatever, it's going to be a long list, or you could just simply go their last name.
Just like the other one.
Yeah, and then that's it. It's a lot easier, you know, or you type it in, but I think just clicking on the letter is better.
reporting now on here or on?
Starting on TheraApp until August 1st.
Okay.
So if you guys want to follow through, if you can look, because I'm going to use Jose Acosta as an example. So if you want to follow along, you just type in Jose or just type in Acosta and it will pull him up. So that way in the search bar at the top right here. Okay, so for the main things that we're going to be doing is tracking, because all of our clients now are going to have goals. They have goals now, but now it's going to be separated a separate way. They're going to have goals, and then they're going to have the teaching method at the bottom, which is going to be their objectives. So for that, you're going to go to tracking, and then you'll see that he has these goals. So of course, we're not going to work on all these goals at the same time when you're meeting them, but you might have these things set. So say we're going to just start with grocery shopping. He's going to be doing grocery shopping. So before, a lot of times we want our consumers to create a list using an ad to, you know, get the best deals for themselves so they can save money. So how many times do you observe the use of a sales ad to shop and create a list? How many times do you observe the client, you know, while you're there, has ads out. He's saying, oh, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, and he makes a list. And then he also looks at what he has in his house and, you know, writes those additional things over there. So you on this day, let's say we're just going to use today, you just type in, you click on the number, and then you put 1. If it was more than 1, then you could put 2 or 3.
We're gonna be measurable. They're measurable goals. That's what we're doing. 2 out of 4 times a month. So you got to think, if you have a client that has 10 hours, you're only seeing them weekly, right? So if you're doing shopping weekly, you know, are they succeeding that goal every time when you go out? Are they making healthy choices? You know, you might get a list. They might have a list prepared. You go out to the grocery store and they don't get anything on that list. They get everything they don't want. Did they get a 1? No, they wouldn't get a 1 because they didn't measure, that goal wasn't done. They
Right.
didn't do it. So it's going to be a measured goal. So just follow, because The case managers are designing the goals to each specific client. There's going to be some generic goals, but there's going to be some that they're really working on money management with identifying coins with the 1+ system. So that's going to be, so make sure you tune into your client's goals and see if they're doing it or not. You just don't want to say they did it, they did it, they did it. Then they succeeded, they don't need us anymore.
Right.
You know, so they need that teaching and training. So we're going to start very low, and then that's how they build up to, okay, well, you've done this, let's move on to the next goal, you know. So
What is the number scale?
it just depends. It could be out of 2 out of 5, 1 out of 10. The laundry, it's all measured differently. So that's why I said pay attention to each individual
But it'll
client.
say on
Mhm.
here. what
Yeah.
the number
And
is.
that's
they
why-
put the goals in.
Where your case manager will ask, what are you working on? And what are the things that you're focusing on? Because these are the things that we want to continue to work on with them, because you know that these are the areas that they're struggling
So some
Yeah.
goals might have a 5, some might have a 10.
in. Right.
And some will just say yes or no. They're not going to be measurable. So like, especially paperwork, you know, we're not going to measure paperwork with the EBT and all that. That's going to be a yes and no goal. Did they do it or not? And that's it. So just pay attention to it. If you have questions, just call the case manager and we'll guide you through it. But it's supposed to, it's just easy. They did it or they did it, basically.
Okay. And then the other part of that, you
But
just,
then again, with that, I'm sorry, you're going to have to put a note in there and state what was done. So
Yeah.
she's going to get into that. So don't just think you have to just write a number, because we still have to report, do a
Right.
report.
743 done.
So
so the other part of it is the what method we're using. How many times do you observe Joe use Best Buy system while shopping? So you took them into the store and you stood back and you watched them pick up the can of store brand and a name brand, and it was like trying to compare. You would say, oh, he used the Best Buy system, and then you would go down here and you would click on the number and you say, yeah, he used the Best Buy system. And then the other part of it, what you would have to do is you see those 2 little lines underneath the number. You click on that, and then you're going to write the narrative. You're going to write what you did. So let's say,
What's the check? All that apply?
there's nothing in there right now.
Okay. But there'll be something.
There might be like other goals that say, oh, he used this system.
Oh,
He used
okay,
it.
okay, okay.
Yeah. And of course you can change the time, because, you know, of course, once you clock in, when you doing documentation, it's going to do the time that you open the app or go onto the website. Just change it. Just change what time that you're actually going to be, you know, that you started with the client and then you're in time. Important part that you're going to need to do is you're going to have the person sign just like you're doing in Therap now. They'll take their finger and do all that. You know.
Each one of the little thingies.
Yeah.
You said yeah.
What little things?
You just, okay, so.
So the
You're doing-
signature's at the
You're
bottom.
doing like 3 different goals, 3 different signatures? Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
that's
No,
what I'm
just the
saying.
main one. So they'll just do a narrative on the goal. You don't have to do it on the bottom one, because it pertains to the same thing. Because you could write everything that you did, you observed in Best Buy in one thing, so you're not doing more than you have to. Yeah. And then you're going to make sure that they sign, and then you sign as well. So I'm going to save that, and then you sign as a staff. Let's see if I can make that legible, because goodness gracious.
But they will have to sign on
Yes.
Each goal.
Each.
Right?
Yeah. So whatever you're working on. So, oh, is that what you're asking?
yeah, so if they do,
Okay.
after you do grocery shopping, you go to medical,
Shopping, and then something else, you can assign 3 different.
and then you
times.
did laundry, that would be 3 different goals you
Three.
worked on
If
in
you're
that
working
day.
on
But
all
you have
three.
to wait until you're all the way done with everything before you do that.
What do you mean?
No.
Because they want you to sign each goal. That's what I'm
So
saying.
if
So
you
wait
do
till
it
the
anytime.
end.
I think what she's saying is like after you're done with the medical, have them sign it, then you go off to grocery shopping, then
Yes.
have them sign it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If you have 3 things set for that day that you're with them, you know, most time you don't, because you don't have a lot of time. Then yes. But if you have that time where you have 4 hours and you're working on all 3, yeah.
So it won't shut down, it won't re-race, is I guess what I'm saying.
No.
You have them.
Automatic.
Well, you have them
It
sign,
automatically
and then you save and close. That's the most important part, because if you did it and be like, okay, and click out, then it's not going to save it. So you have to save, you can either hit the save button and save and close it, if, you know, and then you could come back and select. You also have to, this person applies to your case manager. So for me, and then you'll see Elizabeth on you guys', you just make sure there's only one option, pretty much. It's gonna be your case manager. Just make sure you click that or it won't let you save it. And then that's it.
But it's just like.
Yeah.
So that minutes and duration, we'll put it.
That
like
out of-
1.5.
Automatically it's gonna do that.
Oh, it's
So say
automatically,
that
okay.
I'm gonna say I clocked in at 8:25. It's already gonna put
Oh, okay.
120 minutes. You can add 2 notes. See how there's 2 notes? You can do 2 on the same one.
Oh, okay.
You know, if you had, I forgot something. Because once you save it, it's not gonna let you go back to that one. Well, let's see.
Wait, go back, you said 2 notes, go back.
Okay. See how I opened it again and I did another note? Well, that one's blank.
Wait.
If
So-
like if you forgot something to put something the first time.
Right.
Oh, I forgot he spent whatever.
You-
You can go back on it. It's gonna make a second note. It won't go back to that first note.
But you don't have to. I mean, you can do this. So click on the one, click on the note symbol. And this is my original note. Just
Oh, okay.
continue.
Oh, it did. Oh, okay.
It did that because I didn't do that. The first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so that part is done. And then there's one other component to this. You're going to go back to your caseload, or you're going to go under documents. And you see how there's a medical, you're going to go here, create a new document at the top. You're going to go to documents. Oh, they don't have
Yeah,
documents.
we don't have.
Okay,
it
so
already.
No. Okay, so I think,
We're going to put it somewhere else.
okay, we're looking at putting it somewhere else because you guys don't have access to this.
Okay.
So let's go in it because we're gonna show you go ahead and go
Yeah.
in it because
Mhm.
you're not gonna have it. It's gonna go under forms. So you guys see where you have forms is?
Yes.
That's what
Okay.
we're looking at putting
But
it.
here's my question for you.
Uh-huh.
When
The very
she's
first
right
one.
there,
Yeah.
So once we're still putting it in there, but I'm going to show you what you're going to be looking at. It's going to be in the form section.
Yes,
So for medical and dental in progress, so when you're taking them out for appointments.
that form that we gave you guys,
Mhm.
that one, we're gonna make it.
So where you could just go in
and
here
type it.
and that way you don't have to,
And
you could
submit
just,
it.
today is the 14th.
Mhm,
Yeah.
That's the old form that so it's in documents right now. You guys have no access. It's only case management because that's where we generate our reports. So once we get it in there, it's gonna be in forms. As you see, if you look in forms right now, forms is the releases. So when Daunya contacts you or any of the case managers contact you, say, hey, we need new releases for Rosie, for Joe, for Susan or
That's where
whatever.
we get the.
You go in there, press that, they just sign it electronically, and then we upload them and we have them. So
Okay.
you don't have to come in and get paper. It's all electronic. So we're gonna have that medical note. Hopefully we'll have that in by today.
Oh, so it's not in here.
It's
Not
not in
yet,
there yet.
no.
This form is in documents. We have to get it into forms for you guys to fill that out. Okay, but go ahead.
Okay. And so you're just, when they're given their stats, his blood pressure is 138/88. Pulse was 83. Sometimes they don't give you that. They might give you the temp. They might not. I say 97.8.
And
Okay.
when you guys are going to doctor's appointments, it's your responsibility. We need these, and we need these for a reason. We have to report this to CVRC. We are contracted to them. They want to know their weight. They want to know their blood pressure. Our clients have high cholesterol, their diabetes, they have seizures, they have so much stuff going on that they monitor that, So CVRC, when we send over reports, we want accurate information. So this form right here, you need to fill out it as much as possible. If they don't have A1C and they're not diabetic, if they're pre-diabetic and they're being monitored, we need to ask, we need to do blood work, we need to put that A1C in there so we could monitor and see if they're going up, they're going down, what we need to do. Go ahead, Connie, you have a question.
well, the first question was, some of them, you don't go in there with them, and some of them do not share their information.
Okay, and then that's where you would notate that.
Okay.
And then again, you could try to go to the receptionist and get that information from them. A lot of them have my chart. If they have my chart, hopefully we could set them up and get that information. Some of them do actually get a printout as well. Try to get the printout and put that information in there. If they're not if they're not giving you the information, call them back and say, hey, you know what? And explain our services of what we get. We take them. Can we get that information? I just need their weight and their blood pressure and their temp and what was done. Was there a follow-up? You know, we know that there's a lot of, we don't want to violate the client's rights, but we do have to give that information. So there's a will, there's a way. Okay. So if you're having trouble, reach out to the case manager. If not, the case managers could go out and get that.
Yeah, well, it's
too.
real hard to get information when.
Yeah, I get it. There's some individuals,
Admin,
yes.
You said the A1C?
The
Yeah.
A1C, that's the,
It's like, well, one of the doctors, he doesn't do that. All he does is
Distinct the blood sugar
whatever,
test.
it just says it's in range, whatever he's saying. But
Okay.
He doesn't give you that, because I've asked 2 or 3 times, he says, well, I don't do that, unless there's actually a need for it.
okay.
And then he'll, but.
So for the ones that have diabetes and you know that they're supposed to be getting checked every 3
Yeah, well,
months.
them will get you.
Yes.
I'm just saying this particular doctor, because I've asked him multiple times and he says he doesn't do that because he just gives, I can't bring it up, the words he used, but I just do this. He plugged the sugar count, I think is what he's telling me he does.
He does the finger stick.
So he's normal, like pretty much borderline.
Yeah, but they're not
Okay.
diabetic.
Okay.
So you just put that. So if you got lab results, for instance, the range was 489, which is in range, which is good. So because we want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on that, so that way we we might need to have him schedule an appointment. to see
And
what's
okay,
going on.
the lab results, you want that?
Well, the lab results are not going to. I mean, if you can get this is the most important thing if we're focusing on a diabetic patient
Okay.
that we
I
are
was just
looking
thinking
at.
how complicated the lab.
No, it will say it on the lab. It'll have A1. It will have
I'm not
A1C.
talking about the A1C, I'm talking about the other stuff.
Oh yeah, we're not asking for any of
The
that. This
cholesterol
was
and all
just
that, no.
this.
It's when they do have their yearly labs, then, you know, that's when we need them.
Should we just like, do we bring that in or do
Mhm.
we?
You
copy
could
Yeah,
that
that-
down?
you could
that-
download them in there.
That is real complicated.
Yeah.
Is it easy, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is it easy to screenshot and put it in here?
Well, if you screenshot it, you're not gonna be able to type. If you're on your tablet, you can actually click on the area that you want to go in and type in.
No.
She's talking about the picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Like
If that's easy,
If I get,
a piece of paper.
yeah,
Mhm.
from my doctor,
Mhm.
and I just wanna, like on therapy, I just take a picture, put it in there, where it says take a photo.
Yeah, this one doesn't have an option where you can upload a photo into this. So I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but if
So
you
then these are now brought back to here
yeah,
versus putting them on here.
so you could put them on there. So you take that and then put it on this, and then that way you don't have to bring it into your case manager.
She's
And then
asking how, if you can't take a picture.
so you could take a picture of that my chart thing and then
Yes.
go back into this medical document and input the information that's on there in here.
But you can't put the picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so basically if the doctor was talking about something, maybe they're talking about his diabetes and okay, that would means he was giving him education. You just click on that. So you could click in the boxes. I don't know why this thing is doing that. And you just basically your reason for the visit, it was a follow-up visit. You know, if nothing was just checking up on him, that's it. Whatever was discussed during the same thing you're doing, and you just put it right there. So this can be done later. You don't have to do it at the initial, you know what I mean, at your doctor's appointment, but it's for you to get that information to jot it down. You wanted to see something?
No, I was just making sure that the doctor's address.
Yeah.
Knowing that what the doctor's address is, because you think about it, a lot of you guys, some have been here for a long time. Just because you know the doctor, you know, our turnover, if you need coverage, so someone knows the doctor. If there's referrals they're getting a new referral to a neurologist, a podiatrist, or whatever, make sure you put that information in. You want to be able to let the case manager know as well. When you do a medical appointment and there's a lot of stuff that went on, contact the case manager and give them, hey, I went to the doctor today, you know, there was prescribed new medication. Anytime there's new medication, you have to call the case manager regardless. Any new referrals, any updates, give it to them, because of the fact that the case managers they got reports, they got all this stuff. We have a lot of stuff going on in the office. To read the charting on a daily, you know, it's a lot. So just anytime a critical medical is coming up and you do one, give them an update. So we're aware and we could look out and flag that summary. Okay.
Yeah, because then you'll see right there where you could add the med changes.
Because notice in their app when I'm looking at and I'm auditing the reports and I'm looking at documentation, they went to the doctor. Everything was normal. What was it? Didn't tell me what doctor they went to or what, and what was the follow-up for, you know? So you got to be really specific on what you guys are documenting, because now I got to go back and look what was the last appointment, what it was for, you know? So you got to be really specific on what it is. You just can't say went to the doctor and doctor said everything was normal. Okay.
Yeah, so the more details that you guys can add to these notes, the best, because then we won't have to be calling you going, what did you see the doctor for? And what was their blood, you know, hey, by the way, what was their blood pressure? What was the last weight? I won't be calling you. I could just pull it up here and find out. So you would be the one that signing this note, not the client. And then you would just sign. Well, of course, it's not working now. But you click on that and make sure you have to sign. You're the one that's putting that documentation in. Nothing. And then, okay, so we're just now getting Case Magic up. If for some reason there is, go back to Case Magic. Get out of my way. This thing is tripping. Okay. How is this? I need to move this out of the way so I can't see. All right. So say that the goals are not in there at the first, saying that there's nothing for you to track. There's another way to do documentation. And you're just going to go to your caseload and you're just going to hit notes and just enter the just a general note.
Go to more.
Tracking.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that. So now hit the
You hit this
yeah,
right here?
and then a note will come up.
Yeah.
It'll just generate a note. Then you would just put what you did. If it was a medical appointment, if it was grocery shopping, if it was laundry, just put it in there. We'll get it.
This is also in, if you do have one that has tracking, then you could still go under notes. See how it has a spot right here for other notes? So even if you don't work on any of these, you could put, like, say for instance, Joe refused to do everything. Refused to work on any goals. I can't even spell refused. That is right. To work on goals today. You know, you could put, like, because he was upset or something, whatever the note is, but then still makes them get them a signature. They didn't want to work on any of the stuff. They wanted to work on something else. They wanted to, you know, I don't know, take a walk in the park. That's not even on here. But you still, whatever you did with the client, make sure you still document it. Okay.
And if you have clients too that actually you go out, you're working with them, you're scheduled, and you get there and then they're like, oh, well, I canceled my appointment, or I don't want to go, I don't feel good. You do document that time. So you do 15 minutes, because we work in 15-minute increments. And keep that in mind too, guys, because I know, Melissa, you're one to have your time card with the odd numbers. So make sure you do the 15 increment time. So, you know, 15 to 30, 45, and on the hour. Okay. So if a client, if you go out there, that's billable time for, so make sure you bill that 15 minutes if you have a no-show. If you're out there waiting for a long time, you know, just let us know. You could bill more for that. Okay.
You guys, how do you guys feel about this? That's pretty much the only thing that you guys are going to be doing in that in Case Magic. Not too complicated, hopefully. I know it's a change, but you're generally doing the same thing in a different way.
I'm not. I know it takes me. See, and I stopped listening 15 minutes ago because my mind is somewhere else. I have to keep touching.
Yeah, I know. That's why you guys you can play around with it. Anything that you put in there, it's just not going to matter. Those we all practice. It's not going to actually go on any ISP or any annual report. So you have 2 weeks to play around with it just to get
You want to
familiar
go
with
into
it.
Betty Boop and see, so they could see what the goals are going to look like.
So
So we generated a fake person to train with and put goals in so you guys could see what the goals are, generic goals. So if you go into Betty Boop, look under Betty Boop, you'll see her generate her
This one, right?
the ISP.
There she is. Hey, Betty.
I like that it pops up with the first 3 letters.
So when we do a report, so when we meet with CBRC, when we generate report, this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna have the case manager, the client's name, UCI, their medications are gonna be in there, their doctors, their updates of all their different A1Cs, the results, weight and all that good stuff, height, cholesterol. These are the goals. So this is you're doing self-help, nutrition. They're working on preparing a nutrition meal. This is the purpose of the goal. This is the objective. So this is what it's going to look like on your end. That's what you're going to track, right? So then you have self-help, another one, because there's cooking in the kitchen 4 out of 5 times. Okay, and then you have self-help here, weekly menu planning. Then you got household maintenance, and then their purpose is to maintain a clean living environment. So it's kind of worded a little bit different, but these are the purposes and the goals. Then you got self-help, laundry 1 time a week, and then you got hygiene, and then you keep going down, you got medical, scheduling dental medical appointments to maintain good health. Then you have prescription medications, picking up, refilling, some have pill boxes that you're filling. And then physical activity. A lot of our clients are obese that we go out and walk and take them to the mall, whatever. So we have that where you would document, track that. And then budgeting. This is the budgeting one. Pretty much everyone has budgeting, money management. And then we have here money management ATM, because who carries cash anymore? A lot of them need to learn how to use the ATM. They're getting their SSI in, debit cards, and they got their EBT, they got all that. So learning the PIN numbers and stuff. So that's a teaching and training thing that we're doing as well. Then you have community resources. That's pretty broad. EBT, you got so much different things. Their mail, going over their mail. They're not filling out their SAR. So there's just many, many things. That's where you would put that at. And then a communication. A lot of them have, their communication, they're working on communication skills out in the community. Some of them are very, they speak their mind and say inappropriate things, so teaching them that. And safety awareness as well, I think that's going, pet care, that's the pet care one. A lot of our clients have pets, cleaning out the cat litter, the dogs, picking up the poop, making sure, their house is upkeep when they have pets. Navigating the community, safety awareness, making sure that they're aware when they get out the car, they're looking left and right. They're keeping their heads up. A lot of them walk down with their with their heads down, car comes, boom, so you want to be able, if that's a teaching, if that's one of the clients you're doing. When the case manager does put in your goals, if you pull up your client and you're like, well, we're not working on that no more, or I think we need to add this goal, let them know. Because it's all going to be geared onto each individual client, because the development's different, they have different goals. So if you see something that doesn't mesh, or you want to think that they need to work on something else, that's the time to let them know. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like. So when you open up your client's thing, and that's what you're going to track. What was done, how it was done, how it was measured, and then that's it. Okay. Same thing. It's a little bit easier. It'll be a lot easier.
It seems easier.
Mm-hmm. And then now you're on a website, not an app,
Yeah.
too. Because the app, with the droids, that was the worst thing, was the people that didn't have an iPhone. So hopefully
on a website, not an app.
Yeah, because the app is the one. You could go on the website to get Therap. I think you did Therap on the website versus the app. Because the app, you could only see so much, but if you're on the website on Therap, you could see all the medical, you could see all the other things. You're only able to see a couple things.
So they're
This
saying-
program don't have an app.
They're saying
So-
that
So is it harder to get in without a?
You have
No,
to use
You just gotta use that.
the Chrome.
you have
Mhm.
to use, you have to
Don't
use-
go through Firefox at all.
What is
Use Chrome.
Firefox?
Don't- you
That's
don't-
right.
don't worry about it. If you never heard about it, don't worry about it. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. So, we're just open for any questions you guys have. It's really simple, but do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
How many how are we gonna be able to tell, like, if they, for this one, it says how many times was Betty able to choose appropriate word choices? If the goal is like 5, where would we find that? How many times specifically?
No, well, how many times have you observed her using word choices?
Oh, okay.
In that instant?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many times did you observe when you were with her that she used appropriate word choices? Oh, I observed twice. She could have went off and she didn't. So just, so, two.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not gonna be like a set number?
No. No, because it's gonna, at the end of the quarter or 3 months, it's gonna take all of the numbers that you have and it's gonna say, oh.
We have a formula put in there, so it's gonna measure it. So that's how that's measured with that, because when you start doing it, either 25 to 100% or whatnot. So everyone's gonna be measured at a different thing. So you just put, so if you're out for 2 hours at the grocery store with her and she cusses out the cash register and says thank you, so then basically you're gonna be like, okay, she said one good thing, but then she said a bad thing. So how many are you gonna put down? 1, because she had a negative response. And then at the end of the month, at the quarterly, it'll measure for the whole quarter of how she did. So out of 100%, she probably did 30% out of 100. So we want to get her to 100% to, be positive communication. So see how that goes?
Yeah.
So,
Kind of like a
yeah.
balance.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So there's a formula in there. So every quarter we'll measure it. Okay. Any other questions?
So can I get that cap?
Yeah. And then another thing, if you have questions, come in, call us. We'll help you as best as we can, because we're all learning this new program together. So we're digging as well. Okay. All right.
All right, you guys are done. If you have any other questions, you guys can carry on with your day. If you do have questions, you can contact me.